So you guys know we bought a bank in Buckinghamshire. We've had some challenges with it, but you tend to find this with these type of properties. Now we're just going back to site just to find out where we are with the project, the timelines, seeing if there are some more challenges that we've uncovered, and to look at how we're going to progress with this. Okay, so now we're back on site. Previously, when you were here, we were at the first fix stage. Now you can probably see something's actually changed here. Plasterboards are up. So we're actually at the stage where we can look at skimming the walls. So just to explain what first fix is. First fix is literally when you rewire, replumb, and carry out some other remedial work. Now you can see here, like new wiring has been run. We're all ready to go. You've got the plaster here, so the guys are gonna start skimming. But we've had some challenges as well with the property. When you have a look, we stripped back and there was places within the roof that was actually leaking. So there's some additional costs that we had to incur. We had to put some scaffolding up, we had to strip the roof back, start relaying it. If you follow me, I'll show you where we are with it.
They say property's not for the weak, not for the faint-hearted.
Definitely not, definitely not. So if you look up there, you'll see basically there's some scaffolding up. I think we can access this when we go to the upper floors. But what you'll actually see is there were some tiles that have actually been damaged. You can see a few just on this upper elevation of the roof. So the easiest thing for us to actually do is, because this is a property that we're looking to keep, is to actually strip it all back, relay some new felt, put some new roof tiles on, and that will now make it secure for decades to come. You can see here you've got some different types of plasterboard. This is pink. Now this basically just means it's fire rated, so with any building now, if you're putting it together, you need to ensure that the occupants have 30 minutes to actually escape in the event of an emergency. This fireboard here ensures that it actually is 30 minutes. Other ways around this is you basically have to double up with the plasterboard. That makes it 30-minute fire resistant.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
And that's the room where...
so this is the infamous room where we had a visitor living. So the guys are still sort of putting this one together. We had some challenges in this particular room as well, because some of the outdoor walls had some wooden roof slanted tiles that we were looking to remove because they've just been damaged over time with wear and tear, so it needs to be replaced. And once that's done, then we can ensure that the room's actually nice, tidy, and water resistant. We can actually start plasterboarding this up. And thankfully, at the moment, there's no new occupants that we have here.
So I think, Mark, obviously a project like this takes, an expert to take on, because obviously you ran into problem after problem, had to solve new problems. What kind of project would you recommend for someone who's beginning in commercial to residential?
So if you're beginning in commercial to residential, probably the easiest one is just probably a small retail with uppers. With the uppers, you can probably look at converting to maybe 1, potentially 2 flats, and the downstairs, potentially make a flat at the rear and keep a small element of the retail space. When you're actually in tertiary parades, you could probably change that to completely residential, because in those type of areas, there may not be a demand for retail space. So it's potentially better off converting that to residential.
Okay, should we make our way up to the upper floors?
Start to the upper floors. Now this is probably one of the bigger sites for commercial to residential, and there's potentials for loads of problems because these type of buildings have been extended over time, and extensions tied on to existing buildings along with several roofs. So you're not sure on what you're going to uncover, but you need to budget for that, because if the costs do go out of control, you can ensure you've got money to actually complete the project. We'll just run you through just in here. Now this is where we had movement on this site. Previously, you'll see some cracks, and then when we actually stripped back the ceiling on the retail unit, we actually saw there was a beam missing, and hence this part of the building was potentially falling off. So part of the structural engineers' plans were new steels to go in, and then you can see there's basically like these steels here. Effectively, what this is going to do is just stitch and ensure it keeps both sides together and reduce that potential movement down in the future.
Do you think this was the biggest issue with the site?
This was the biggest issue because obviously we knew there's a reason for the cracks. We know it's resolvable. We know by looking at the neighboring properties that there's no cracks on those ones there. So whatever the issue was, it was isolated to this particular unit. And if we can find out where the damage is occurring, then we can easily work out how to fix it.
I think a lot of people usually get scared off by like structural issues, subsidence and whatnot. With you guys, you seem to always be able to find a solution.
I'll run you back probably to one of the first deals I bought where it actually said cash buyers on that advert. So I looked at this site and there was a house in Uxbridge and it was being sold £200,000 cheaper than what it normally would be. Now, once when I had a look at it internally, it was in a dilapidated state, needed some money spent on it. So, okay, that was fine. But when I had a look at the exterior of the building, there was a crack running from the top all the way down to where the front door was. This was a period property. With these period properties, they tend to have wood rather than concrete beams that hold like parts of the building together. Now this one had that wood element taken out and a PVC door installed, and basically as a result this caused cracking all the way up and a movement in the house. The agent didn't actually understand this. I had to get a structural engineer to come down and have a look. Look, is it because there's a tree a couple of meters away, is that causing the damage, or is it down to basically these alterations that the current owner had done? And it turns out that was okay. I ended up securing this property for like 300k. We spent a bit of money on it, done a loft conversion internally, redid the property, and I think within 6 months later that property was worth 550. And we were able to refinance, pull all our money out. So we actually look at the properties that say cash buyers only because we know it's going to deter a lot of buyers, and that way, you know, that pool is now reduced. When we put our offer forward, agents and vendors have to actually take us seriously, and we can therefore negotiate a better price for ourselves.
Nice, man.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, follow me up. Let's have a look. It's been a while since I've been here. So I'm not sure where the access is going to be, but in here you're going to have, there's going to be a bathroom. This was previously two WCs. Part of the office. Again, within here you can see the first fix is done. The guys are plasterboarding. You can see out the windows, they're a bit dirty, but you can actually see through. These PVC windows are all going to be replaced with more energy efficient ones. You can see a lot of the tiles have been taken off down here. We'll probably be reusing some of them and putting in some reclaimed tiles. So you can actually see from here that all the tiles and stuff are off. The good thing is when you strip back, you can see where moisture and stuff has been coming through, and it's probably a good thing that we actually address this at this point as opposed to later on, because it's a lot more expensive when you have tenants in situ and they're complaining about mold and all the rest of it. And you know how councils also react to these situations, because landlords are always being the bad guys in this scenario. So what we try to do is try to avoid that by seeing anything that needs fixing, ensuring that we actually put that together. Now this is like a ensuite room here, you can see. And again, you've got like a partition in here. I think this is going to be an additional kitchen that's going in. This apartment's going to be based over 3 floors. So we go into the loft. So if you have a look out the window, you can see basically how the building would have been made previously. You had wooden slats. There's a bit different from how it is now, because you don't have these slats. We tend to have some battens that go across. We have some breathable felt, and then you have the tiles that go on top. So the guys will be stripping that back and doing it the modern way, and then you'll also have the insulation that will go in. At the moment, it's difficult to put insulation in without having vents, because what ends up happening is you're trapping moisture in, makes it difficult for the ceiling to breathe, and then you end up having black mold and damp within the property, and again, it's very difficult to address. Now, looking at this will be a fairly decent sized room. We're leaving the chimneys and stuff in because it doesn't really impact the room. But yeah, and the guys have started running wires and stuff here. So part of the first fix, and we're making this loft room an ensuite, which is literally just there. Here's something you don't see that often. So you got basically this water tank here. So back in the days, you used to have a gravity system. So you used to have water that was in there, and that will then feed in through the whole system. But now we replace basically these with mega flows or hot pressure cylinders, and this basically ensures that you can maintain pressure throughout the building when you're using it. So these are redundant, so that would actually be pulled out. But yeah, it's a blast from the past by seeing that. Now, should we go check out the retail unit?
Yeah. Do you think once this site's complete, do you think you'll do a site visit here?
I think we should. It's
quite a unique site.
It's a unique site, and what we've actually seen on the news is there's been an announcement of so many post offices that are actually going to be shut. Post offices are very similar to these sites here. They tend to be on high streets and town and village centres. And if I think there's like something like over 500 of these that can be closing. So these are primed to be repurposed. And if people understand what you can do with them, how you can repurpose them, it can be beneficial for the local community for that space to be put back into use, and it can be profitable for the people that take on that site project. Should we head down?
Nice, let's go down. We'll do another video. We'll get back to the office just on post offices.
I think we should do that, yeah. We'll go check out the retail unit. That's now plasterboarded to see where we are with it. We've got a tenant already lined up for this. So basically in here, we've ensured that we kept the Zone A element of the property. We basically worked with a local agent, found a tenant for it, and then we're now just in this phase of just doing the first fix, creating a shell condition size retail unit. And yeah, so we're literally probably about a month away from completing this and handing this over, having the lease all fully signed. So an exciting time to actually bring this space back into use. But as we said, we used the Zone A element. We kept that because that's where you're going to earn the most per square foot. The Zone B and C element, we've actually now going to be making a 2-bedroom apartment there, and we're getting the best price per foot by actually doing that. And again, that was just a simple planning application for it.
The Zone C element where the safe was?
Zone C was where the safe was, and that's where you got the reinforced walls. But we, thankfully, by working with our architects and structural engineers, we managed to bring that bit into use. Prior, it was likely to have just been used as storage, but now that's going to be an additional bedroom for that flat. So it's a big win, both sides.
Do you know how much it costs to get rid of that safe door?
What we tend to do is when we price our jobs out, we do it on a fixed price. We work out the elements that we need to do. But when we priced that in, we told the guys, look, you're gonna need to get rid of this safe door. And literally what they had to do with that safe door was get some specialist cutting equipment, and it took them a long time to actually break that into pieces so they can then put it in the skip. And I don't know if you saw the previous videos, that door was big and it was heavy. So hats off to the contractors for actually being able to pull that off, because when I first saw that, I thought, how the hell are we going to get rid of this door? We may have to just actually leave it in there as a feature. So we hope you enjoyed that. Before you go, make sure you hit that bell icon, subscribe, like, leave a comment. We're back each and every week. This is actually quite an interesting part of this building. You've got one of the former safes there. We were looking at you keeping that as a feature, but in the end, we probably thought the best thing to actually do is just box it in, and that will be hidden away. Now, this year was actually an exciting year for us. We actually hosted today 41 events, including a black tie event. We've got the Elevate series with Lloyds Bank, which has been a massive success. We're actually taking that national. We're going to take it to other cities next year. To ensure you don't miss out, check the link in the bio where we'll be putting in links for you guys to actually get involved with this. We've got a free community. We've hit over 1,000 people on this community. It's a great way for you to connect with other like-minded property investors and developers, put some of your problems out, put some of your wins out, and interact with other people. We hope to see you in the next video.